What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Crimson Lounge, back at it again with, not quite Primordials bounty.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's not quite that. So, good news, bad news. Mostly bad news. The audio for the episode that we recorded Sunday was utter, complete garbage. There was a lot, and I mean a lot, of technical difficulties, to the point where, when it came to, when I looked back on the video, it's like there's only so much I could salvage from it, which was basically bare to none. My voice was quiet on the last bit of recording, and on every fucking video of the export of, from beginning of the thing to break to the second half, it just, OBS bullshit. It was speeding up and crackling, and it was just unhearable. It was I could not, in good conscience, post that video. So, that brings us to what we're doing. So, instead of trying to fake it, re-record the session, and try to, bullshit our way through and being like, oh yes, that never happened before, we're just gonna go ahead and just, do a bit of a podcast recap of what happened last episode. Mm-hmm. At least, bullet point of, what is important, what happened, and stuff like that.
We'll also be providing some kind of meta commentary over some of the stuff about the game.
Yes, yes. Some meta commentary along with what we're doing for change, right? Because right now, I am not touching OBS until I figure out why it's acting the way it is. Yeah, we won't be touching that. So right now, I am using Streamlabs. So far it's running good. But so far it can only mean so much. So yeah, God, where do we begin with this?
I don't know, beginning of the session?
I guess.
I guess.
Honestly, there really wasn't much in the ways of the beginning of the session besides you guys turning in the Garm Wolf, turning in the Garm Wolf hunt quest, getting paid for that, splitting the cash 6 ways. I know that Boss went out to go tan the hides, cure the furs and the voice box that he procured from the monster.
Yeah, he did that immediately to begin with.
Well, the fur bit, yes. The voice box, not so much. We got there. We got there.
Let's just say we stacked them and leave them at that.
It did not take 20 minutes to get to that route. No sirree, Bob. You have a new toy for your arm, Creepah, for Starzin.
Oh yeah, the upgrade.
Yeah, that is true. So after we ended up getting paid and had a few jokes because our total count split 6 ways was 675 gold pieces, and we had a 675309 joke going for a minute.
Oh man,
so close to 69 though.
The joke was gone. For into the digital sea it goes.
Yeah, which really sucks because it was really funny for like a little tangent we had going.
Yeah. Along with many other jokes we've made.
Well, we'll get to immortalize some in a way.
Yeah.
But essentially, what I ended up doing with my share of the cash is, because Starzin has... Now, if most of the viewers will remember, I lost my shotgun in the previous island because of the Wandering Tomb. And I have been trying to find ways to make up for that in terms of being a ranged combatant, because while I praise the Artificer for being a jack of all trades and being able to do a lot of stuff with versatility, ranged combat is really their bread and butter. At least that's my opinion. Despite the fact I have a big fuck off fist.
And especially,
it's one of the. It was a part of the introduction with firearms into D&D.
yeah,
Officially.
which is even odd considering that the arcane artillerist doesn't use a gun; it uses a wand.
It can technically be a gun.
I know it can technically be a gun, but it says wand, and I find that odd that that's a choice that they went with for that subclass. Like, if you're going to introduce firearms with an artificer and have the subclass be like magic, like Magitech bullshit, give them a magic gun. Make them Linkara, for fuck's sakes.
Ironically, you say that, and yet I also think back with the Arcane Artillerist, one of the main opponents that you could carry your arcane artilleries around. And I imagine, so does that mean you could just carry around them like a fucking gun, flamethrower, and a literal shield?
Technically, yes.
I mean, how does a fucking barbarian carry a grand piano on their back?
A lot of rope.
They just do, man. Basically it's like a pocket. It's like one of those video game pockets. It's like, it makes no fucking sense for this man to be carrying 300 swords.
Thus we have the animation technique called the magic satchel.
Yes, exactly.
But
I'm just imagining a barbarian in like a live stream. So I was like, I'm going to fit this whole piano in a small bag.
Pretty much.
And which is funny because the I believe that's what the bag of holding is. If you think about it.
I mean, it really is when you think about it. But anyways, back to the upgrade.
Yeah. What did you upgrade your arm with?
So I took one of Joe's ideas that we talked about between sessions. Like, he had an idea to basically give me a Barrett inspired upgrade to the arm, which is to make my arm a Gatling gun. So after looking through the Craftsman book that Mage Hand Press made, we found out that this is not only possible, but reasonably affordable for me. So, basically, how it works is I basically applied masterwork properties from the Craftsman into the arm. First, I had to apply some stuff that makes it hit harder, which it does hit harder, just it went from like 1d10 to 2d6, so I've essentially turned my fist into a greatsword effectively.
Yeah. It's like I'm going back on, like, back in the DMs where I first made this idea. This was back in December when I popped up this idea.
Yeah, and I actually had it written down, but because of the way our sessions were stretched out and because of in character, I didn't have a whole lot of cash and kind of wanted to help get everybody else as equipped as they are. Unfortunately, that's kind of why it took so long to make this ever since we came up with the idea in December.
Yeah.
But
I like the conversation goes. I asked for the properties of your fucking thing, of your battle fist, and you're like, oh, what kind of things it gonna do? It's like, oh, it does this and this and that. I said, I has an idea. I basically brought up the Switch they'll switch property, and then after you say, "Oh, that's a good idea," and then I posted a picture of Barrett.
Yep, and then I'm just like, oh, dear God.
you said after that, tiny Barrett.
Yeah.
It's a tiny bear.
It's a pocket Barrett.
A
pocket
You had to make the joke.
Yes, man. Yes.
Now I just need to
boy.
practice a cartoonishly miniature Barrett voice.
Well-
Now I'm just imagining it's just like Brutus carrying our backpack. We're surrounded, and it goes, "I'm not alone." And then Starzin comes out with the minigun.
So yes, the property. So essentially, yes, we went with the idea. You went with the idea of a Gatling gun arm that can switch into your battle fist. And let me go ahead and so the properties were martial, exotic, firearm, automatic. There was one more. Was it switch?
It was reload.
Reload, right. Reload, that everybody knows what fucking reload is. Automatic, if I remember correctly, was you can fire 2 times on the same turn, but you would take disadvantage both of those times, and you cannot take advantage. Like, there is no advantage rules to it, no matter which position you are in or whatever the fuck. It's always disadvantage. Yeah. Am I correct on that?
For the most part, the main idea of automatic is that it essentially, the main thing is that it doesn't just let you take 2 attacks. It really doubles the number of attacks you can make and doubles the ammunition you consume at the cost of making your shots permanent disadvantage no matter what happens.
Yeah, and because you have extra attack, that means you can use that ability you twice, meaning you can fire 4 times in a single turn.
Yes,
which is not bad, but it's also not good considering it adds the extra disadvantage. So, I guess the question is like, would the second shot be disadvantage, or would both shots be disadvantage?
I think by the way it's worded, all shots made by doing that are at disadvantage. Because you're trying to essentially hail a fire.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's one of those things where it's like, I understand why they made it like that to counterbalance it, but in my opinion, I think this is just my opinion. I think there was a better way to go about it. For example, one of the books that I showed Joe and introduced to him to get like a few extra stuff, including some other little projects I'll have later down the road, was the Grease Monkey's Handbook. Now, they also introduce firearms, much like most homebrew stuff does, but they have a really different take on it. Like, the way they do firearms is it's based on a rate of fire system. Like, the way they do it is a weapon that can that can shoot multiple times or attack multiple times basically has a rate of fire number. And that determines how many attacks it can make with a single attack action. So if something has a rate of fire of 2, when you take the attack action, you make 2 shots per attack action. And the shots are not affected by advantage or disadvantage unless the normal circumstances apply, i.e. long range, hard cover, fairy fire, stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's a different way to do it, but
I mean, if you're fine with the way how automatic works with your gun now, like you're fine with how it runs now, right?
Well, I'm fine with it for now. For now, I'm okay with it, 100%. Like, I'm willing to stick with it and even, like, stick it out for the remainder of the campaign, just to test it and see how it works. Because I've never really run any of the automatic weapons that Mage Hand Press has done, so this will just kind of, I guess this will be a testing experience for some of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, on further reflection on Mage Hand Press, especially with some choice words from Clyde about his thoughts on it, about some of the stuff that they make, which I somewhat agree with. What did you say it was? Mage Hand, the ideas Mage Hand Press came up with, Clyde? Or they're like mid or something like that?
Mage Hand Press has great ideas, but their execution is less than par.
I agree on some of those.
I think this is the general thing. Not that they don't have some that are good, that are well executed. It's just the general is they lack good execution.
And I think it's starting to show with some of the effects that you can add onto the weapons from your little feat that you got from the craftsman, with some of the abilities.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
We should continue explaining the session.
Right. Sorry about the side tangent.
No, it's okay.
So
Tangents.
yeah. Which actually brings Clyde. What did you do what did you do for your downtime? I think it was just.
Oh man, dude, I made potions. I'm being a good alchemist.
Yeah.
You also harvested some herbs.
Yeah, I
That
did
was part of
harvest.
the
So
Don't
I don't
worry,
know.
guys. I will keep our party nice and healed up.
I don't know if I explained it to you, but there's pots in the alchemist room where, you go out in the field, you find plants, you can plant the plants into the pot, and you can grow them in the ship after a couple days. They become a renewable resource for you to use for potions, poisons, and bombs,
Yeah.
depending
And,
if they have
earlier-
that feature.
And early on, I found the healer's boon, which is for making potions. And I'm like, yo, our party doesn't have a... You could say our party doesn't have a dedicated healer, so potions are probably going to be important to us. So I started
Most
handing
likely.
out potions.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just, I hope this doesn't deter you from looking for other herbs.
Oh, no, it's not deterring me from looking at other things. I just feel potions are probably the biggest priority for me to do.
That's fair.
God, now I'm looking at it. I hate to make this comparison, but you're right now like a lower level version of Rimuru Tempest. That's what Sips is. Or at least that's what I'm getting at with the similarities. Likes to collect herbs, makes healing potions, is kind of powerful with a sword, and is slime. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. I like the...
If only I could eat things to gain abilities. Hate me up. Racial feet?
You already have a racial feat.
Fuck!
What do you mean?
A little bit late for that.
I don't even remember what your racial feat is.
Oh, no, I remember what it is.
Isn't it the slime changeover thing or something?
No, that's a base thing. Yeah, I don't
It
remember.
was alchemical slime. It's the thing that makes me able to use myself as a workshop.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
She's her own walking laboratory. She don't need no station.
Yeah, I'm my own alchemy station.
Back on the session topic, I guess, for explanation.
Oh.
After pretty much some alchemical and pretty much micromanagement of materials and crafting,
Mm-hmm.
Brutus got involved with Starzin and Zilyana about a discussion of
Zilyana.
Zilyana. Did I say it wrong?
Yes.
Zilyana.
Why the fuck did my brain mix that up?
You got to understand. Kirk tends to do this a lot.
His dyslexia makes this a very common occurrence.
Yeah.
He can't discern the Z names all apart. What was it? Zigradazon?
If it makes you feel any better, there was a point in time where I kept on confusing Akane with Zilyana.
That did happen.
And I will say, it was because of Liz. That's why it happened. Or, not Liz, it was one of you fucks. I think it was Clyde. You know what? Thinking about it now, it was Clyde. It was 100% Clyde who fucked me on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was probably Clyde because back in those days, he was 100% gaslighting you.
Absolutely.
What? Gaslighting me? Never.
Yes, Clyde
fucking
just
believe it,
hides
asshole.
all the propane.
Alright, back to you recapping.
Yeah, and it was. God fucking damn it! Now I lost the name of the guy. That little tangent fucked me up.
Bishop?
What?
No, not Bishop. The other one. The one with the black raven crow thing.
Oh, Kalis.
Kalis, right. I knew it started with a K.
Yeah.
It was discussion about Kalis and Bishop, and about, like, what we should do, but, we didn't have enough information, so the mighty heavens above gave us a recommendation to, go search for rumors while we, take the rest of the day off.
Oh, the reason why I bring it up is because the rumor system is basically a new mechanic that I wanted to add into this game. It's something of a new mechanic. They've only used it once, and that was over in Windy Hill. That's how they found out about the treasure map over at Windy Hill. They found out about the Wandering Tomb and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and considering you were new and stuff like that, I want to reintroduce the rumor mechanic on how you can get extra things if you go to taverns and spot out rumors.
Fair enough.
Which I will say,
new to the system.
Yeah, which I will say, I got this idea from Baldur's Gate.
Anyways, I mean, that's good. Don't know what else to say. It's just Baldur's Gate.
Well, not 3, the first one.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, I play old games.
You're saying that like it's something to be proud of. Yeah, I play older games.
Older games are good games.
Older games are good games.
Especially these days.
Except for when the older games requires for you to understand how THACO works.
But yeah, we needed to use we were basically just trying to reuse the rumor mechanic, which we had, like Joe said, we had only used it one other time, and that was back at Windy Hill before you and Gronk came along. Which, even then, that was like, we got like a handful of stuff, so yeah, to reintroduce it was actually a good idea to remind us, because
some people forget things.
Some people forget things, and unfortunately, there have been a few breaks that we had to take between Windy Hill and Aria Wood.
Also,
yeah.
We were kind of jarred because of all the problems we were having.
Yeah. Yep. Look, man, this ship is basically sticking together by both hope and duct tape. But we'll make it.
Hear me out. Trade out the duct tape for Flex Seal.
I mean, I'm planning on it. If Streamlab works the way I hope it works, maybe this would be the Flex Seal.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
I guess you could say the damage that OBS did to the last few videos. You could say that's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
man.
That's a lot of damage. Let's see if we can make more.
OBS with a chainsaw. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
So, you know what? How about for the person that actually did do the rumor stuff? What did you do, Creepah? What did you do?
Well, to go rumor hunting, I decided to hit up the taverns, but I decided to kind of do like a kill two birds with one stone and bring Iris along for reasons that will totally become apparent in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But we went rumor hunting to go to at the taverns, which we learned that the three taverns in the city, that being the Witch's Brew House, the Fairy's Flask, and the Mermaids. What was it? Mermaids.
The Mermaid's Melody.
Mermaid's Melody. That's what I thought. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, the Mermaid's Melody was like a high-tier establishment.
It was a rich people tavern.
Yeah, it was a rich people tavern located in the center of town. The Fairy's Flask was like middle tier, and it was centered right next to the Crystal Cove Theater. And the Witch's Brew House was located near the docks, and it was a low tier establishment. Here's what I'm gonna say as a little bit of background in the little behind the scene, peer behind the kimono. So it depending on where you would have basically told you the information that you needed. Basically, if you went to the Witch's Brew House, the only information you probably would have known would have been the location of where Bishop was. If you went to the Mermaid's Melody, you probably wouldn't have gotten any information out of there.
Yeah, I figured that that probably would have been a bad idea for two reasons. Because A, we probably would have been looked at like ew, people who work on a boat, peons.
It's not that kind of rich person tavern. Like it's like
that's what came to mind. I now know that that's not the case, but that at the time that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's basically like, God, what's a good comparison? It's like going from a 1-star fast food restaurant going to a Wendy's to a Applebee's. That's basically the tier list right there. Actually, no, not Applebee's.
Now, hear me out.
I would say the high tier one would be Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, that's fair. But I would replace Wendy's with McDonald's because I'm not gonna lie, Wendy's is sometimes mint.
I guess it depends on the Hold up, no. Oh man,
wait, we can all agree. Burger King's ass, right?
I enjoy Burger King.
Burger King is 100% ass.
Burger King's ass.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I say it depends on the restaurant that you go to, because so far the one that I live next to is all right.
I have been to several Burger Kings in 2 different states, I have had the exact same experience no matter what.
I have been to several Burger Kings in multiple states, and yeah, Burger King's the most ass.
Anyways, so yes, you went to the Fairy's Flask. You got the information of a witch that is witches that are placating the town of Quiver. Yeah,
Witches Coven, you mean? I think that's what they're called, a group of witches, right?
Witch Coven plaguing the town of whatever it was, because
I mean, yeah, a group is technically considered a coven.
Yeah. Yeah. You learn that yes, there has been a raven that flew overhead. One of the people didn't believe that there was a person on top of it, thinking that the other guy was drunk, but they were heading over to Aria Woods as well. And then you found out about Bishop being contained on a Tempest militia ship on the outskirts of the port. And you learned that he's an anarchist.
Yeah, we did learn he's an anarchist. Gonna be honest, not the worst addition to the crew by far.
I mean, considering the fact that none of you guys really have much love for the Leviathan Empire, I think this is a win.
Exactly. None of us care for the Leviathan Empire. As a matter of fact, we could probably care less if something bad happened to them.
Fuck the government.
And, yeah, so you got the information from there, and you decided to enjoy... After which you decided to enjoy a nice, lovely date with Iris after a successful Riz roll.
By one. Let's not
By
forget
one.
that,
By one.
that my charisma roll was an 11, and she rolled a 10. And the fact that I passed that was kind of astonishing.
Which, the end of that day had you rolling on the carousel table.
Yeah, because, fun fact, that originally was not going to happen because I was going to assume that I had come to the ship later in the evening. However, I didn't get to make that clear, and we skipped to the next day, and...
Honestly, I was gonna have you...
And these other two fuckers, called Brutus and Sips, basically played the idea that nobody had seen me come back on the ship. And because of that, Joe decided to ask if I went and got drunk. And these two also played further that probably did happen, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna come back.
Hey, compared to everything else, we're happy that you committed to the bit.
It was like at that point I was gonna have a smash cut to you guys talking in the lower deck, like, okay, team meeting, everybody, and then these two were like, I wonder where Starzin is, and I'm like, I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I could have been flash cutted to just could have flash cutted to having a nice conversation, maybe a little bit intimacy, but no, I get a drunk roll.
You do get a drunk roll.
But I'll say this much: Mama didn't raise no bitch.
Especially after I called you. What?
Yeah, you called me one. Ironically, he didn't call me one for deciding to opt out of the drunk roll. It's actually what the drunk roll caused.
Do you want to say what you got?
Let me explain this. So, for those that have seen how this drunk roll goes in past sessions, it's a D100 roll, and it's a table that Joe has. I rolled a 4. Now, I don't know the specifics of what that means, but I do know that the result was as follows. I wake up in the crow's nest without a shirt. Thankfully, I have every other piece of clothing. Just not a shirt.
Yeah.
So, I've got that going for me. Nobody's up there, just me.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'm notified that I've got a tattoo on my chest of Iris doing a sexy silhouette pose, and under it are the words, "My one true love," and I'm just like, oh god! Internally, I'm just cringing. It's like, why does it have a tattoo? Why does it have to be that?
Because fuck it, why not?
I think you cringed the most is not the tattoo art, but the words underneath. That's what killed you.
You know, it should have been Iris holding a gem with underneath it, the only gem I need.
You know what? It's canon now.
No, I've already decided what the tattoo is, and I'm actually happy with it because I decided to one-up the silhouette and basically make it her doing the silhouette pose from Borderlands that's on Scooter's hat.
So I did look it up. That's the exact same silhouette. It's a different silhouette, but it's that
Same
silhouette.
type.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, that design already exists out in the real world. I'm pretty sure before Borderlands came out. So
I'm sure it
good.
did. I'm just saying. I recognize it from Borderlands the most because that's what first introduced me to it.
yeah. So
Anyways,
yeah.
that happened.
Yeah, that
And-
happened.
Joe gave me the option to stealthily sneak down from the crow's nest, down the mast, below deck to get a shirt to cover it up, and you fucking called me bitch boy for wanting to do it. And I said, you know what? We play ball now. I'm gonna fucking wear that like it's a fucking badge of honor.
Everyone else, me and Sips, both Brutus and Sips, were at the bottom of the mast. We noticed their arm, Starzin's arm sticking out, and then we were like, "Are they awake or something?" It was just like there was a moment of hesitation where you were questioning, and even asked us our passive perceptions. And I love to say, "Fuck around and find out."
I will say, Iris also got a tattoo.
Oh God!
Gonna be a little bit more subtle, but Iris also got a tattoo.
I had a hunch that she would probably have had one as well because I honestly did have the hunch that was probably going to work both ways.
You know, I'm gonna text you what it is.
Oh,
I'm gonna keep it a secret until the time is right.
yep, that's fair.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I like to imagine that the reason why he remembers is that he looked down at the tattoo, remembers the events, and goes, "Oh no!"
But yeah, pretty much, I forgoed the stealth roll to wear it like a badge of honor because everybody essentially no balls my ass, and I just said, "Mama didn't raise no bitch." And then in character they decided to act really smug about it, and which
I did.
Sips managed to save herself by at least saying it was a nice tattoo. But then Brutus wanted to get cheeky, and I flat out told him, "You real." And I gave him a good promise.
I sent it to you, by the way.
I see. That promise is I will probably turn him into a pair of gator skin boots. Although later on, when I thought about it, I was like, you know, I probably should have said something Captain Holt would have said from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I should have said, "I will slit you open from mouth to anus and wear you like a jacket."
Oh man. And he has crocodile leather. He's crocodile, so that means it'll be a crocodile leather jacket.
Jacket. That would be a fucking onesie.
No, that would be it would actually be a faux leather coat. You know, like those big fur coats.
You know, faux leather. You know, faux leather's fake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would be real because he's real.
But I'm saying it would be similar to that because of the size.
Yeah, it would be a leather coat.
Yeah. So, yeah. So after
shenanigans.
After you guys, after a bit of shenanigans, you guys talk to each other. You guys talk to the crew in the galley about the plan of action, and so far the consensus was everybody was good to try and break Bishop out of the brig on the military ship. which introduced a new mechanic that I wanted to add, that I wanted to use for so long, but never had the chance until now. Which is, it's a PDF that I bought, called Here's to Heists, a guide to capers and heists, or Here's to Crime, a guide to capers and heists, by Jimmy Merritt from DM's Guild. Essentially, this is basically this is a book that tells you how to run a heist, a heist, a hit job, a con job, or work the mark kind of job. In the style, basically, it's a heist book, and it works in a as smooth as it's a smooth as possible mechanic.
Which, after experiencing it, is actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There'll be some fumbling here and there since we weren't used to the mechanic.
Sure.
But other than that...
Yeah, so to further explain it, essentially there are 3 phases to a job. The first phase is to figure out what kind of job you're doing. What's the caper? And you got 4 options: a hit job, a con job, heist, or work the mark. And after you guys decide, what it is, which it was a heist, essentially it was a heist, you begin to prep. And essentially, each player that's a part of the heist must begin prepping, which is essentially you tell me what you're planning on doing, and I give you a skill roll. And if you succeed, you can either give a point to the face, who's running the operation. You can give a +1 to their roll, or you can hold on to it and have a flashback. And flashback's simple. Basically, if you encounter a roll that you aren't good at, you can use a flashback and say, I prepared for this by having this from the other day. I'm going to use this skill roll instead. Essentially, that's what a flashback does. Which we played kind of a little bit fast and loose on that one.
A little bit.
Yeah. The other thing that we played fast and loose with was buying stuff during the preparation bit.
Buying stuff and doing a prepared skill for preparing for the heist.
Yes, so I think what I'm going to do next time we do something like this, I'm not going to have you guys buy things during the prep time.
You know what, fair enough.
And I would have that be a flashback thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like a good example would be, you guys wander. It's like a good example of that would be if you guys need to sneak on board, but if you go through this one route, it'll be too noisy. Flashback, I have a scroll of silence, and you would basically roll an arcane roll to see how well that worked.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But yeah, after prepping and going through the approach, we go on to phase 2, which was basically where the action began, which was essentially you immediately start in the heist.
Mm-hmm.
And I provide I provide several challenges, I provide
challenges, obstacles, hurdles.
Yeah, obstacles. In the way of doing that. So, if I read further, I probably would have read the fact that if you have fumbled 3 times, it would have been a failed heist. But if you get...
Luckily, we only fumbled twice.
The other thing I will say, I had you guys roll more than what you should have.
As the DM usually does.
Well, I mean, to be fair, some of the things that you did was a bit questionable on that. But essentially, there's supposed to be at least... there should be at least, like, 5 obstacles. 3 to 5 obstacles in the way that you gotta roll for. And if you get the majority of the obstacles succeeded, that's a successful heist. If you get 3 failures during the heist, that is a failure and you're spotted, essentially.
That's the alarm. Time to do some heavy lifting.
Yeah, essentially.
It's basically the equivalent of Payday going loud.
Yeah. I'm probably going to need to plan better on how obstacles work for the future.
So, wait, you don't always just go loud in Payday?
I mean, I always go loud in Payday when I'm playing Payday too, because fuck stealth.
Fuck stealth. Just go loud. It's more fun.
Yeah, because I didn't, as Russian Badger said, I didn't bring a mech suit and an RPG to rob the Department of Justice quietly. No, wait, it was I didn't wear a mech suit, bring a minigun, and queue up Razormine to rob the Department of Justice quietly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, on top of that, there was another mechanic that I did not do because, at that point, we were hitting frustration levels because of how much things were going on behind the scene. To the point where it's just like, I wanted to wrap this up as quickly and as swiftly as possible. Which... the other part of it is basically, I asked you guys, how do you want to wrap up the score? And essentially, I then asked you guys to do a group skill check. In a group skill check, you go around the table and ask the players to describe either how they are finishing the heist or how they are helping the group escape without a trace, giving them a ton of freedom to do this. This can be narrating either something their character are doing now or something their character did the day before to prep for the escape. The players narrate what they are doing and tell what skill they are rolling. And the DC for that is basically based on the security level, but it reduces by 1 for every successful challenge you guys overcame during Phase 2. Which, for the most part, you guys succeeded on most of them.
So, the way it works is, it's a group effort. The DC is equivalent to the base security level, but per obstacle overcome, it is essentially... it lowers the DC by 1.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and essentially, when you guys escape, that's the end of the heist. There is no actual combat involved. If there is combat involved, basically, you would just say, I would have one of you guys roll something to altercate the thing and just move on from there. Like, there is no actual combat during these heists. There's only, like, small things.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and to be
honestly,
honest, I would have assumed that if combat happened, that would have been the failure of the heist.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that because, like my initial thought would be like, okay, we can't do this quietly, so the heist is technically failed in the eyes of that system, but we can still come out of it. We just have to go the loud route.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You can, if you get into an altercation, that does not mean the heist has failed. It just means that you're probably going to need to either be prepared to wear disguises so they don't identify you immediately, or kill them before they raise the alarms. Like, I think the best way to explain this is like both Payday and Assassin's Creed. Like how in Assassin's Creed, if you're alerted by, you know, one of the enemies, they go out and try to alert more guards. If you kill them before that happens, you're not alerted. Like your wanted level does not raise. Yes. So don't think going in an altercation equals automatic failure. If you do it fast enough, you're fine.
Just means if they see us, we got to pull them into the bush and get rough with them.
Murk their ass.
Not necessarily. Sometimes murk them or just choke them out.
Yeah.
Which I could probably do with one hand.
Yeah, but after some clever ideas coming from you guys with basically basically disguising the boat to make it look like it's basically a busted up dinghy to sneak on in and sneak on out, using the distraction of fish by throwing a rock into the water and distracting the guards that way, to knocking over a bunch of barrels. You guys made your way down into the brig, and you finally find Bishop, who is a purple-skinned orc man, dressed up in a very fancy outfit with a royal purple cape and a red shirt. Is that a shirt?
Red dress shirt?
Red dress shirt with man, I have no idea what the white furls are.
I have no idea either. Like, you've seen them all the time, but you never really figured them out.
Exactly.
I don't know what they're called, but I know what it is by looking at it, but I just don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
To be honest, my brain instantly just thinks fancy napkin. I don't know why.
The reason why you don't...
Are you talking about frilled shirts?
No. Look at the picture. The thing that's underneath. That's the three white pieces of cloth on the chest.
You were kind of thinking of like a tie or something.
Yeah, isn't that just frills?
I mean, I guess that would. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. So frills, I guess.
I guess so. So yeah, the reason why you're not seeing Bishop right now is because I kind of want to add some things onto his character that I just came up with, and I kind of want to add on to him now. So next session, hopefully everything will be smoothed out, all the kinks are done, I'll be able to, things should go back to normal, hopefully soon. If not, I'm going to hang myself.
Yep, he'll probably do it with his computer cord.
God, you better believe it.
In game.
Fucking believe it. In Minecraft, of course.
In Minecraft.
Damn, that would have been one hell of a mod.
Look, if someone could add in an emote that makes you do the Angsha pose, I think they could do the other one.
Look, man, if they can make a mod where there's a fucking cube girl that gives blowjobs, I think anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, true. Hell, I've even seen people mod in whips.
Yeah. Well,
and have custom animations for it.
I
only know this because I was on Twitter and saw I can't remember if it was Scotty or Marcel, i.e. 407, or basically I Do Work. It was one of their Twitters, and there was a video from one of their Minecraft SMP servers.
Of course, Marcel would be in the video where the whip is present.
Yeah. So in the video, Scotty had the whip.
Oh God, I can already see it.
Marcel was working with crops. And Scotty activated the attack button with the whip, and it even had the custom animation where you're actually moving to whip someone.
Oh god!
And it gets Marcel. The best part is, it not only hits Marcel, it kills him.
Of course, out of all the people.
And they're both just laughing their asses off.
Oh,
it was
fuck.
so unhinged and perfect.
I mean, yeah, that's the Vanoss crew for you. But anyways, getting back on track. So yes, next session, picture of Bishop will be out completely. And back to the session, you guys managed to free him. Sips also managed to sneak into the captain's quarters, and
I think you skipped a step.
Did I skip a step?
Well,
there was the process of getting freed.
There was a step where we did get Bishop out of there, and the way we wake him up.
Oh shit! Right. Actually, you know what? Clyde, how did you wake Bishop up?
I don't know. It was a simple elbow to the stomach. While covering his mouth with his cape.
Oh, yes. A simple elbow to the gut.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, point of order, you punched him in the stomach first, and then you put your hand over his mouth.
I thought I said, like, I covered his mouth first and then punched him in the gut.
Well, you know what the sad part is? We don't have video evidence to prove it.
We don't have video evidence to prove it.
Regardless, you covered mouths and you punched guts, so it really doesn't matter.
Which
I woke him up in a very rude way. Mainly because, like, nobody wanted to cast the silence spell. So I was like, fine, I'll do it.
No.
I'll cast the silence spell. Punch.
I want to reconfig that. Because here's something funny I want to point out here. I was concentrating on pass without trace through a spell scroll. Creepah was concentrating on, invisibility because he had it on. And then there was just like, you two, you and Iris, that could have cast silence. You could have, and then we could have waked them up. But you were like, fuck everything, punch.
Yeah, like, why do we need to use the silence here?
You were the one that pointed it first, too.
I don't remember having a silence scroll.
I will. Well, it doesn't matter. It's like it's a point where it doesn't matter if you have it on hand or not. You can just say it's just you're going through the motions.
Yeah.
Like it could have been the simple like, oh, you grab it from his pocket and cast silence. It's like
it was literally like in a frontal bandolier. I even described it as like his bandolier on front of him. He had like these 4 scrolls each ones, and he could have used any of them.
Yeah, which led to a new altercation.
Which was, just thought he was going to get assassinated.
Bishop did not like that warm welcome, did he?
To be fair, he is an anarchist. Like, he has pissed people off. So, somebody wanting to kill him in his sleep? Probably not the first time.
I like you say that. He's an anarchist. It's reasonable. I would have said, anyone punched in the gut, you would expect a fight to wake up for a fight.
Well, yeah. Look, man, let me go ahead and tell you a story. I almost got killed when I was working at like a fast food restaurant one day, and I was trying to wake up one of the customers that was sleeping on one of the benches, and it was late at night. And my solution, because I have shooken this man, I have clapped in this man's face, I have done everything. The final solution that I've ran into was to sprinkle water on his face. And the customers were like, that is a terrible idea. And I'm like, okay, fine, I won't do it. And then the guy wakes up a few minutes later, is like, oh yeah, if you would have done that, I would have shot your ass. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't do that. Now imagine that scenario, but getting punched.
God. It's merciful that it's merciful at least someone did break up the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be glad I immediately fucking jumped in, mentioned Talus's name, and took off my invisibility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that could have gone south really fucking quick.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't gone completely south. That would have just been a mark on the tally of a failure.
Yeah. Look, if a fight did break out, I was immediately gonna fuck it, use the silent scroll and beat his ass and bring him unconscious.
I mean, that is an option. But yes, afterwards, after confronting him, calming him down, and being like, "Okay, yes, we are on the same side. Let's get the fuck out of here." After he threw away a rusty spoon that he was planning on using to escape.
And
to
then
escape, to shank us, who knows?
I will be honest, it was kind of a dick move to say, "Hey, can we get my stuff first?" Like, we're just making you escape from the ship. We're breaking you out, and yet you have the gall to say we have to get your shit?
Look, man, I have a haste enchantment on my axe. Which, by the way, I will say, the moment I said that, Starzin was like, "Oh, we have to get that."
Creepah, I really hope that when we have a moment, you're gonna either borrow or snatch that axe and learn how to copy it, please.
He wouldn't know how to do that.
I wouldn't. Oh, trust me, that wouldn't be a me thing. That would be a Metro thing.
Yeah, that would be a Metro thing.
Fair enough, we have a wizard.
I can go ahead and tell you what the haste enchantment does.
Please
Is
do.
it the lesser or is it the greater?
It's the lesser.
Okay.
Basically, there's 3 charges you can cast. It's not exactly haste, because it's a 1-turn deal. For 1 turn, you get double the speed, you get the benefits of haste, but it's a once per turn. It's a once per turn kind of deal. Hence why there's 3 charges.
Yep. The only downside to it is that because it works like haste, you suffer the lethargic effects of it as well.
Do you?
Yes, I've read that enchantment multiple times. You do actually suffer the lethargy of it.
While carrying this weapon, you can use your... Oh wait, it's not even a... Sorry, it's not even a charge thing. It's just once per day. And the 3 charges comes in when it's a greater. While carrying this weapon, you can use it on your turn to gain the following benefits until the start of your next turn. Double the movement speed, plus 2 to AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, gains advantage on... gain an additional attack on your attack. You can... gain an additional action which can be used for the attack, dash, disengage, hide, dodge, use an object. Once you use this property, you cannot use it again until next. It does not say you gain lethargy.
Does it? I could have sworn it did.
No.
Update.
If it did, that would be a terrible enchantment.
Hang on. I'm gonna pull up the book and take a look myself. Haste. There it is.
While he was going while he's looking for that,
I found it. I'll be damned.
Now I'm just imagining somehow Sips gets another sword and enchants it with haste.
I'll give her ideas.
No, make this one a wakizashi. Make this one a dagger.
I wonder then where the hell did I read that?
Maybe it's because it'd be word haste, spell haste. Maybe
No, I swear I remember reading it on an enchantment somewhere.
Well, that is neither here or there right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. But yes, you guys snuck him out. Sips grabbed his stuff. You managed to get a clean getaway with only 2 failures. Which honestly, bravo. Because I gave you guys 5. I gave you guys until you get 5 failures before you guys were caught. Which honestly, now thinking about it, 3 failures would have been a better idea. But regardless,
and I think we almost failed the escape because Iris got a nat 1.
Well, you did. Well, kind of.
To be fair, I was guilty of it as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that was basically the end of the session. I guess the question is now, how did you guys feel about that session? Now that, it's the next day and all that. I hear snickering.
I think it just depends upon if, do we separate their feelings from everything else that happened,
But besides the bullshit that we had to go through.
I think it was so good. I think it was okay. I mean, I had no problems with it, to be honest. I like that some people committed to some bits, and I also like that we got a clean getaway on our very first heist. Or at least my first heist.
No, this is technically the first heist for us all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said, I had this plan, but nobody has done it, so.
Yeah, this is the one thing that actually you got to experience with us for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah. I will say, the next time you do a heist, it might change on how we did things, because after reading over it again, I think I fumbled on how some of the rules worked. Mm-hmm. So, all in all, it's the same, but I think there's going to be some changes, because I didn't quite read all of it off the... there's some things I kind of skimmed over.
And that's fine. I mean, realistically, this is a new mechanic. This is a mechanic that's really new to all of us, so we don't know entirely how it's going to function. And how we do it the first time is always going to be different from how we do it going forward, because we're obviously going to make mistakes or do things that we probably shouldn't have done, or made it way more complicated than it needed to be. But that's just how trying new stuff works. That's part of learning.
That being said, does this make you want to do heists more now, or whatever the fuck is in this book?
Me personally, I enjoy it. I think this is a good mechanic to use going forward, and is definitely makes it more worthwhile doing heists, because having an organized system that really helps you go through it at a gradual, steady pace really helps keep it going, and also make it short, sweet, and simple for everybody involved.
No. Clyde, what about you?
My ideas on the session?
Your ideas on the session, and the thoughts of using this heist mechanic again more more using it more.
Ugh. I think the heist mechanic was really good for this session. It did make things run smoothly. Mm-hmm. My thoughts on the session, well, now that it's over, it was still fucking shite, dude. I hated all the problems. But
minus the problems. Yeah.
Problems aside. The session was good. We got a couple of things done. We got Bishop off of the ship that he was on, and hopefully we can move on to something else maybe next week.
Yeah. Next week, if I remember correctly, you guys were set sailing to the other port city, to the city of Treble.
Yep, that's the plan. get up there and kind of continue our work from there.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with all the darkness and witch stuff. Heck, we might even complete the bounty on the tree.
The cure
Could we?
Ardell.
Yeah.
The Curdell.
We'll just have to wait and see how things play out, because currently that's like 3 things in very close proximity that may or may not become a problem.
And we have to focus on priorities.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe along the way you go after the dire wildebeest.
The dire wildebeest, the thing that is definitely going to be a problem for us.
Well, I mean, as an optional thing, it's kind of like in some Final Fantasy games where there's a hunting mechanic where it's just like the main quest is over here, but the hunt's over here. It's just simple. It's just a small detour.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just referring to like the fact that out of all the hunts, this is easy mode.
Yeah. I mean, money is money.
I mean, you're right. Money is money, and I won't say no to a couple hundred extra gold for any more projects I have going down the road.
Absolutely.
Because if there's one thing I want to do, it's make some more badass shit.
Look, he needs to keep upgrading that arm.
I think he can only. I think he already upgraded to. Well, I mean, there's one more thing.
There's a couple more things that will be incorporated into the arm, but that's going to require a major financial investment for right now.
Yeah. Right now, enjoy the gun, the gun swap battle fist arm.
The rotary arm cannon.
Oh, I love that.
That's what I'm naming it now. The rotary arm cannon.
Perfect.
I'm gonna be honest here. Probably at like the final session of this game, Starzin's arm is gonna look like the one from Barrett has in Advent Children, the electric arm cannon with the 3 miniguns on it.
To be fair, I think he was charging up. I think he was charging up Fire in the Hole, his limit break.
Most likely.
I think that's what that was. But yes, with that out of the way, thank you guys for watching the latest episode of Recap of Primordials Bounty? Bounty? Recap the bounty? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do subscribe, follow, leave a like or a comment, and we will talk to you guys later. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.